Welcome to Empowering the Next Generation podcast. I am Helen Verroux. This podcast is dedicated to help anyone connected to preteens and teens to give them tools, empower and inspire teachers, high school senior leaders, and parents to build the future leaders of tomorrow. We discuss about controversial and relevant topics related to the world of education, the main problems you are facing, and solutions to help you navigate your journey. We want to make a positive change in education by bringing on experts that will give you a different perspective on how you can solve the hardship you are facing today.
And when I left Taiwan,
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Empowering the Next Generation podcast with me, Coach Helen. I am so glad that you're listening to us again with another episode. You know that we are here to ignite, to develop leaders, and to create meaningful connections in school communities. So I encourage you to share, to comment, to like, because we are here to make an impact and make your life better and giving tools to you so you can actually empower your community. So today we have an amazing speaker. Her name is Bayka, and she's a founder of the BYKE Academy. Through her platform, she advocates for educators, for parents and children from around the world. And she's also the host of Global Educators, which is really connecting global educators to come together and voice what they stand for. So the main pillars of her platform are emotional intelligence, neurodiversity, and mental well-being. So today, Bayka is here with us to talk about the tools to build an online platform as an educator and share her message with you. Hi, Bayka. Welcome on to Empowering the Next Generation podcast.
Hi, Helen. Thank you for having me. This is such an honor to be here to share about my personal platform, my entrepreneur journey, and also being a host, traveler, content creator, and trying to do it all in this little platform that I've created. I'm super excited to share my passion and thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. We've connected, I think, like a couple months ago. You also came
Yes.
on my show. We have an awesome
Yes.
episode on that. So if you guys would love to watch it, you guys can always go back to my YouTube channel and take a look at it. Another thing is that once we were talking, we found like so many similarities, commonalities between us, right? So we are both of us are global educators. I'm also a
Yes.
global educator. That's what we're gonna be talking about. So stick around.
I love it. I love it because I believe that I looked for you on Facebook, on the internet, and I loved your message. Like Global Educator speaks for itself. And I really wanted you to come on my podcast as well because your message really is to empower the next generation. We really talk to the kind of the same audience, to parents, to educators. We want to ignite, we want to make a difference. And I love how you brought together your education, your gift as an educator, and you also grew into that entrepreneurial journey. You know, I'm big into entrepreneurship, so I'm so glad that you're here with us, and we're gonna just discuss and share with authenticity to the audience about your journey. So what motivated you really to start the platform Bike?
So I think a lot of young girls or like a lot of young Asians might relate to me that it's a bit difficult because this is a very big industry. A lot of people are flying in from Europe, America, South America, even like African countries, also like Eurasian countries. A lot of people are flying into Asia, Southeast Asia to become a teacher, to become an ESL teacher, and there's like a lot of competition. And for someone who looks Asian, who looks Chinese, it was a little bit harder for me because automatically parents would think that I'm Chinese and English is not my first language. However, ironically, English is my first language. And however, I do get a little bit of less of a opportunity, but which I turn it into a business. Why not start my own platform? I don't have to wait for managers, HRs to, look for it. I would be always be on the waiting list. We would be like, oh, we have a job. We will tell you whenever we get a job. that might take another year or 1 or 2 years. Please wait on our waiting list. And I'm like, I'm not gonna, pause my career just because, of what I look like, because of my nationality and ethnicity. So I'm like, I need to start my own tutoring platform. So that's why I started actually in Taiwan. I started my private tutoring part-time job with one of my friends. She's from the Philippines. She's the one who really pushed me, and I got to see her as a role model. She's doing it. Why can't I do it as well? It was never a competition. We never fought over students. It was more like we would help each other. Like if I have a student that I didn't have time with, if my schedule didn't work with if my schedule didn't work with the students, I would, refer her. And it was like vice versa. It was like a small community of teachers just all helping each other to find private tutoring tutees. And that's how it all kind of started. I started tutoring after class, like 7 to 9 p.m. and plus on the weekends. So I was also studying at the same time. I was studying and plus tutoring at the same time. And that's where it really took off. And students started responding, parents started responding, giving me feedbacks. Even when I left Taiwan, everyone was like, why did you leave? Can you come back? Can you still continue those classes online? Because of COVID, there were a lot of visa regulations and changes. I had to go back to my country. And when I went back to my country, a lot of my students still stayed in touch. They were like, why can't you just teach, online? Why can't you just continue teaching on Zoom? And even when I went back home to Mongolia, where I'm originally from, I had students from Taiwan, like 5 students that kind of stayed with me. And they were like, we're so sad that you're leaving. And that's how it kind of started. Prior to starting my platform, I've had taught for 5 years or so. So I would say for people who are thinking of starting a tutoring, you don't need a lot of experience, but you need, connect with your students, and they will start reaching, out to you. Parents will be like, oh, we want long-term tutors.
That's so inspiring. And I love your heart. I feel like we live in a global world, and there is so much competition between people in the same fields. And this is the thing, is that you don't have to be in competition with people. Everybody has their own space. And I love how you collaborated with your friend to help you in your journey. And so you've always been an educator at heart. You've always loved to bring your knowledge and to give your knowledge to students. So what have you learned, from being a global teacher? What have you learned from being an educator and as well being a global teacher?
That's actually a really beautiful question. I don't think no one has really asked me this question. Thank you for this question. So I've learned so much from teaching abroad, not just learning. So I started my teaching career back home in a really nice school, like a really nice, prestigious international school. And I never really thought I was going to be a teacher. I thought I would just give it a try. I thought I would give it a try. And I started teaching, and I actually really enjoyed it. I really personally, like, genuinely enjoyed it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna study abroad. I'm gonna start, doing other things. I've tried marketing. I've tried um, other like communication jobs. I've tried business. I've tried sales. And just somehow when I started talking to clients, or whenever I met parents in airports or like in restaurants, they would be like, oh, I have a daughter, do you want to tutor her? Everything would like kind of direct me to back to teaching when I was trying to run away from teaching. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm just going to lean into it. I'm going to go all the way in. I'm going to go all the way in. I'm going to start my platform, start promoting and marketing on my own, without any agencies. And I got like 10 private students the first year of my BYKE Academy. And some months it goes up to 15, 20-ish, but it depends because of my classes. The longest the students stay are 3 months, because that's how my classes are. My classes are only for IELTS and SAT. Some students study with me only 5 sessions and they leave. So I don't have like set like a definite number every month. But like the first year I started my platform, I got at least a handful of students. And I was like, okay, I might just turn this into a real business. And back to your question about what I've learned from being a global educator, I've taught in 3 different countries. One thing that I've learned is I want to tell the educators, students from anywhere from the world are the same. Like, yes, we all have different cultural backgrounds. We all have different family backgrounds, different family values. We have like friends, different friends that influence us into we have different hobbies, we have different skills and knacks, right? But like on a basis, on a primary basis, everyone, almost every child, I feel like has the same. What they want is they want the connection with you.
Mm.
That they want to be valued. They want students, and not just like, I'm not even talking about primary kids, like middle schoolers, high schoolers. They want your validation. They look up to you. They look up to you as some sort of celebrity. And I've actually had a conversation with one of my students. I told him it's not okay to idolize us. Don't be obsessed with us. It's just that, because we're not perfect. I actually was gonna. I actually didn't upload it, but I'm quite like active on TikTok. I was going to post. Most adults, we don't know everything. We've just developed great PR skills. So I kind of tell them like, we don't know everything. Don't idolize us. But one thing I've learned is anyone that's like younger than you, like especially students, they really, really, really look up to teachers. And it's so, so sweet. So it's very important for me as once I've learned that they've really look up to you, because once I've learned that, I've adjusted my mindset in so many ways. I've learned to become more honest. I've learned to become more hardworking. I have to walk the talk. I can't be like, oh, I go to the gym and actually don't go to the gym. They'll be like 3 months later, they'll be like, hey, teacher, well, how's the gym process going? You know what I mean? So it's
Yes.
important to walk the talk and actually talk the talk. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it is important for me to be honest and exactly do what I'm going to say, and they'll hold you accountable. They'll hold you accountable. So that's, I think, what I've learned the most. And being a global educator, I've not just working with students, I get to meet their parents as well. So I do have really good connections with most of my students' parents, and I get to have friends from all around the world. So I get to have Taiwanese friends, and I tutor their 2 kids. So I get to meet from people all around the world. Most of my students are from Asia, to be honest. I do have some in America. They're Mongolian, but they've lived abroad. So I get to make friends from all around the world. The parents are usually my age or a little bit older than me, like 5, 6, 10 years older than me. And yes, so I get to connect with a lot of amazing people through my platform.
I love that. I love how you actually use your gift of education and inspired people around you. And I believe that what you've said is so true. When, as educators, students look up to us, they look up to what we're doing. And because you're a person of value and integrity, this is what makes a difference, because you're not just, as you were saying, talking for the sake of it. You are actually walking what you're saying. And it's very rare in people. And I love how you said that they are inspired that by us. Even teachers who are in the classroom or what you do like online, it's the same factor. It doesn't change. And just to reiterate what you've been saying, it makes such a difference that you actually got self-aware of all of this, so you could actually maximize your connection with them. So I think that a lot of educators would benefit from what we're saying, because it's not just an online educator trait. I think it should be across the board. It should be in classroom, it should be online, it should be as well wherever we are actually passing on our message and our knowledge. So really, what inspired you to start your show? global educators. I know you talked
So,
about
mhm.
you wanting to showcase your service, showcase who you are as a person. But what else really inspired you from doing that?
So it actually branched off from my tutoring business. So while I'm what like I mentioned, I get to meet a lot of parents who come to me with how do I motivate my students, or how do I build a connection with my student? Because I did have one parents like messaged me, and she was telling me about how her daughter just loves me, and then she was asking me, how do you do it? I'm like, I actually don't know. I don't really have all the answers. I have no idea why she loves me. She's like, she only wants you to teach her. I'm like, I have no idea. This might be um, and I'm
Obsession?
like, yeah, I'm like, we don't want that, right? We don't want that.
No, we
We don't
don't.
like, I don't want to condone any type of idolizing, but yeah, so I do get a lot of questions from my parents, like a lot, asking me basically how do I improve my students' confidence? How do I boost my students' motor skills? How do I help a student with uh, their child with ADHD? How do I help my child with autism? How do I help my child with depression? And I honestly don't have the answers. I straight up tell everyone I don't have the answers, but I can ask people. I can ask, and it's not just parents. It's also coworkers, right? People that I used to work with. They'll be messaging me like, how do I manage my class? And I used to be an head of a department, like a small middle manager, right? And that's when I've actually learned that managing teachers was actually really a very important task in a school. It's very important to help. It's not just like I'm not trying to teach them. I'm not trying to change who they are. It's more about how can I give other teachers the right proper tool so they can also do well in the class. Principals would come to me, your class is doing well. Can you give us the secret sauce? I'd be like, I don't really have secret sauce, but they're like, you do. You're keeping it from us. You're gatekeeping it. I'm like, I'm not gatekeeping. But okay, the main thing is to stay very simple. Like you don't want to show off to the students. You don't want to be very bossy towards them. You want to be friendly but firm at the same time. And I've learned I how do I get these information is I join webinars. I take a lot of classes about neurodiversity. I read a lot of books about classroom management. I read a lot of books about I join webinars myself. Like when I was a head of a department, I was joining webinars every week just so I can, bring the right tools to the teachers that I was leading. And that's where I was like, okay, I'm going to start my own show. I'm going to start my own platform. I'm going to bring everybody together because a lot of the times, and okay, another reason that I wanted to show it is what it'll be like a lot of teachers kind of bashing each other. That's another problem that I was seeing on a lot of educational platforms, Facebook groups. A lot of schools are like bashing other schools. I'm like, no, we don't really need to do that. No school is perfect. No school is perfect. No teacher is perfect. And it'll be a lot of parents as well, downgrading, condescending teachers. And and I'm like, okay, I want to show how hard it is to be a teacher through my show. I want a lot of parents to watch this. And also I want other teachers to watch what other teachers think. Because sometimes a problem that I'm facing, someone else might be facing the exact same problem. And maybe she has the solution and I can learn from them. You know what I mean? And it could be also, I also invite parents as well. Parents might have really good strategy at home that works. Maybe someone else can benefit from that. So the more educators, more parents that I get to meet, everyone is actually trying to say the same thing. The main thing
Mm.
is how do I become a better teacher? How do I become a better mom? Same question. Almost like 100 parents I meet, everyone is asking me the same question. Almost every teacher that I meet are asking me the same question. And that's where I was like, I should just, bring all of the experts from America, from UK, from Australia, right? Those are like top leading countries that that are really doing really good in education, in Norway, in Denmark. I haven't met any teachers from Norway yet, but I would love to if you're listening right now. And if you're a teacher from the Scandinavian countries or working in Japan. I did have one teacher that worked in Japan, and she was giving me a lot of tips. Um, so I was like, okay, what are other schools, other countries, how are they doing it better than other countries? Sometimes nobody's really doing it better. It's just that different conditions, different sociology, different infrastructure also play roles. So we don't want to like compare to, oh, that country's doing better and my country's, way behind. No, no, no. Please don't compare yourselves to other countries, because certain government funding, some governments subsidize, some countries don't, and that's really out of our control, right? But what we can do is go in a classroom and build a connection. That's what we can do. Because there are a lot of countries, I've interviewed people from, I don't want to say the name of the country because I don't want to sound like I'm generalizing, but it's a little bit of like an underdeveloped country. And they were going through the same problem that another underdeveloped country was going through. So now you can see that this is not a teacher's problem. You know what I mean? So parents
Mhm.
have to understand that teachers are doing everything. But again, political sociology problems, infrastructure problems also play another role in shaping the student's future. So I
Nice.
think I've gone way off topic. I forgot what the question was.
No, no, it's all about you were just sharing how you started the show, so which is exactly what you're talking about. You started the show because you saw that there is a problem in the educational system worldwide, and you really wanted to showcase something different. You wanted not just to bring other educators down. Didn't want to
Yes.
bash the system. You wanted to bring empowerment, and I love
Yes.
that you brought
I do
empowerment. You
want to
brought
add one more
power.
thing. Can I add one more thing?
Of course.
Another thing that I hear quite often is, oh, I want to move to that country because that country has better education. And when I interview teachers from that country, they're saying something different. So before students, I'm also as an educator. I don't know why I feel like I have the responsibility. I work with high school students a lot. I'm not a college advisor. I'm not a college counselor, but because I work with high school students a lot, I teach IELTS. Basically, IELTS is to help students study abroad, right? And
Mm,
while we're studying our IELTS classes, those questions kind of just come up, right, while we're teaching, because I'm not just
mm,
teaching English, I'm also want to teach life skills. And while I was teaching IELTS, my IELTS classes, a lot of my high school students asked me, should I move to this country? Should I move to this country? And I was like, okay, let me ask a teacher that actually works in that city, right? Lives
mm.
there, and let's hear from what they say. So that's why I invite them, and I go TikTok live, I go Facebook live, sometimes I do YouTube live stream for all, just for my students for free. It's all for free.
Mm,
So and I'm like, okay, can you listen to their perspective? Because I don't know, I've never lived in that country. I've only lived in
mm,
3 different countries. So that's also another reason I want students to be very like, it's not like a perfect country, right? It's not like certain countries are perfect and every country has its problems. Every country has its problems. Another problem, yeah, on social media will be like another main like wrong thing that a lot of people do is they bash their own country. Take it for granted just because you don't have a perfect classroom. So it's
mm.
different countries have different problems. That's what I want to kind of show to everybody, to the whole
Mm.
world. Maybe your country has certain problems, maybe my country has certain problems, but there is no perfect country and there is no perfect teacher, there is no perfect educational system.
I love that. It's very, I would say, global. You have so many different facets of your podcast. It's not just for educators, it's not just for parents, it's not just for students. It's really branching out all of those different stakeholders and bringing them together and giving them tools and meaningful understanding on what is better for them so they can make actually better choices for themselves and their education. So I love how you said that you were learning as a middle leader. You had a desire to develop your leadership skills because you understood that you had people under you that could really benefit from what you're learning. And I think it's so, so, so important that anyone listening to us, that they understand the power of learning, of the lifelong learner, and the power as well of personal development. Because when you're into personal development, you are really not transforming yourself, but you're transforming people around you and you allowing them to see the value in their life. So I love how you shared that part so you could actually empower your podcast and make a difference in what you're offering as well. And the next question I want to ask you, so what are the three tools that you could actually share with any educator, any senior leader, to really start sharing their message, their global message, and their entrepreneurial journey? What are the first three tools that you would encourage them to know so they could start?
I would say if a teacher wants to become an entrepreneur with like teaching and being an entrepreneur, I would say just start it, just do it. Just ask around, get 5 students, and once you start doing it, you'll get feedback. Take those feedback and actually change your teaching style. I had to change a lot of things because whatever feedback that they gave, most of them were 8 out of 10 were positive, two were, not too good. What did I do? I changed them ASAP. And I would keep like, keep up with parents. Okay, I've changed it. I'm willing to change like ASAP. Please let me know after one session. After one session, I changed my teaching style a little bit, adjusted because every child is different. This is another episode from, I've interviewed an amazing, amazing speaker. He spoke on TEDx. His name is Dr. Matt. He talked about neurodiversity. There's probably 50 different neurotype, and I was
Mhm.
like young, I did not know that. I was like, I thought I knew everything. No, we don't know everything. So I was like lacking with building connections with students. So for teachers who want to become like a tutor, like a private tutor, who wants to start wants to start their own academy, I would say just do it. Start little, start by little. Don't aim for big right away. Start for little. Start with 5 students, get their feedback in every month. Don't wait too long because after 3 months, that's already like a really long time. And if you have not made any progress, parents are going to really be disappointed. So every month, every maybe 2 or 3 months, I get feedback and I change everything. Sometimes I get feedback after every class, but that was a little bit too much for the parents. The parents were like, we don't I don't know what to like. I don't know what to say. Like I felt like I was like bugging them, but I would say start it, get feedback as soon as possible, and change whatever you can change, right? And then just keep going on from there. Start little and aim towards big. In terms of resources, there are so many free teaching resources out there. I can give you the link later. There's a really nice Facebook page that I personally follow. It's called ABC English or ACE English. They give you a lot of tools. I actually, and there's another Facebook that I like to follow, Board Teachers. They bring up teacher issues, but in a funny way. Like they have a lot of
Mhm.
funny comedy skits, and those are like actual real classroom problems. That's like
Yeah.
the show that I started watching, which is really fun if you do like funny videos. If you like more serious content, probably TEDx. They have a lot of tools with neurodiversity, how to become a better speaker, and all of those skills, all of those improving your soft skills as a whole is automatically going to make you a better teacher. So not just stick with. I think that was probably another one in my big mistakes. I was only attending teacher webinars. Don't do that. Look at other options too. Look at other people's webinars, conferences, like business. What is the mindset of a businesswoman? What is a mindset of a mom, right? What's the mindset of a leader, like a proper leader? How do you become a great communicator? So all of those tools can also help you with your classroom.
I like that. And that's what I've heard from what you're saying is just be a risk taker, just take action and learn. And this is, I think, what makes a difference between those who are actually going into a higher level in their life and those who are stagnating is the desire to learn. And you've been saying that consistently about learning, discovering, developing yourself. And I think it's so important. And also getting feedback, as you said, I think is so key. So what is your last word of inspiration to any educator listening to us right now, any senior leader listening to us? What would you tell them? What is the last message?
I think my last message is everyone should stop pointing fingers at anyone. Step one, go into a mindset of collaboration. So one of the nicest questions that I've heard from one of my leaders is, well, like, what can I do? That changes everything. That changes everything. Even ask
Mm.
your students, is there anything I can do? Is there anything that you would like to change next class? That simple question changes so much. Instead of like, do your homework? No. Instead of telling them what to do, it's better to ask questions. That's what I think personally have learned. Ask questions, ask your students, yeah, is there anything that I missed today? That's also a question that I learned from Dr. Matt. Again, I'm bringing him in because I learned from the experts. This is not from me. He's been in the industry for over 20 years. He's done extensive research. He's written a book about neurodiversity, and his main tool was to ask about what did I miss? What do you want to learn that I forgot? Like after every class, and that's what um he would ask his students. So I actually started using that in my class, and it actually worked. And same thing with my parents. If you want to connect with your child, ask them, what can I do? And sometimes if there's nothing you can do, take a break. Just chill. You don't have to control everything. Same thing with principals. Principals might be a little bit different. They have to, control a little bit to a certain extent because they're leading thousands of students, right? So principals, I do understand their stress, but still, I've met really nice, calm principals. So yeah, I don't think anger or any type of rational decisions ever end up in a good way. So probably just like everybody be a little bit understanding, ask each other questions.
I love it. So thank you for sharing a message through Empowering the Next Generation podcast. I appreciate that you actually talked about what you're doing and inspired other people to think differently, how they can actually be an educator and also build their online business and just make a difference where they are. And I feel like everybody has that gift. So if you're listening to us, I encourage you to click on the link below to join my masterclass called Educator to CEO Masterclass, where you can actually start your journey into entrepreneurship. And I would encourage you to join my Wise Educational Leader Global Summit that is coming soon. So if you want to be part of a vibrant tribe, I encourage you to click on the link as well. So thank you, Bayka. Where can they meet you? Where can they connect with you, the audience? Can you share your socials?
You can follow my Facebook page, BYKE Academy, and my YouTube is Global Educators. Same thing at BYKE Academy.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Make sure that you comment, like, and share. And I see you in the next episode. Thank Thank you for listening to this episode, and make sure you connect with us on Instagram at The Case for Success. Check also my Linktree and become an affiliate of the Success Guide for Teens Academy, a program that will empower your school community as a parent, teacher, and high school senior leader. Do not hesitate to reach out, comment, and share. Until then, see you in the next episodes.